What do you mean, zero? My voice cracked over the phone as the bank representative repeated the unthinkable. I'm sorry, Mrs. Thompson. Your retirement account was drained yesterday through an electronic transfer. The balance is now $0. My name is Josephine Thompson. I'm 57. I thought I knew what heartbreak was. I'd already buried my husband, Harold, after his battle with cancer. I had endured endless hospital visits, sat through chemotherapy appointments, and somehow managed to rebuild my life here in Jacksonville, Florida. But nothing could have prepared me for this. The phone slipped from my trembling hand, landing beside the pile of bills spread across the kitchen table. $180,000, gone. 34 years of saving, every sacrifice Harold and I had made, every vacation skipped, every indulgence denied. That money was supposed to cover medical costs, keep me in the home Harold built, and carry me through the years ahead. Without it, everything we had worked for was about to collapse. My daughter, Emily, had been distant lately. I told myself it was stress. Her new boyfriend, Travis, seemed to take up all her time. Emily had always been impulsive, led by her heart instead of reason. But to imagine she could steal from her own mother, it made me sick to my stomach. Desperate, I snatched up the phone and dialed her number. Please, let this be a mistake. The number you have dialed is no longer in service. I tried again, same message, same hollow voice. Emily was gone, along with my life savings. For 3 days I lived in a haze, calling banks, poring over statements, trying to make sense of the impossible, but the truth was clear: forged signatures, fake IDs, a paper trail leading straight to Emily and Travis. They hadn't acted on impulse, they had planned this. Harold had always worried about Emily's choices in men. She had a weakness for charmers, men who promised everything but left her broken. Travis was no exception. He played the part well, fixing my computer, smiling politely, showering Emily with gifts no unemployed man should afford. I should have seen the warning signs. The detective on my case, Officer Patricia Valdez, didn't sugarcoat it. Mrs. Thompson, I won't lie, recovering funds in cases like this is rare. Even if we catch them, the money is usually gone. Your daughter and Mr. Morrison may already be out of the country. Her words landed like stones. My part-time job at Bright Marsh Publishing barely kept the lights on. Without my retirement funds, foreclosure was inevitable. The house Harold and I had built, the one where Emily had celebrated birthdays and taken her first steps, would soon belong to strangers. That night, sorting through photo albums, I lingered on Emily's childhood smile, her dandelion bouquets, her homemade cards. How had that little girl grown into someone capable of such cruelty? I stopped sleeping. Each night I counted how long the groceries would last, whether I should sell Harold's ring to pay utilities, or if I'd end up in a nursing home. Emily hadn't just stolen my money, she'd stolen my dignity, my security, my future. Then, 2 weeks later, a text came through. The sender name froze my blood. Harold. Don't worry, we'll fix this, we'll get your money back. I read it again and again, shaking. Some scammer was using my dead husband's name, but the words, they weren't threatening, they felt almost comforting. More messages followed. Emily and Travis think they're safe, but they're wrong. Evidence is being gathered. Justice is coming. Each note contained details only an insider would know: Travis's criminal history, Emily's new alias, even hints about offshore accounts. A scammer couldn't know these things. And then the call came, an unfamiliar number. I almost didn't answer. Mom, it's Michael. My estranged son, the boy I hadn't spoken to since Harold's funeral, when he accused me of favoring Emily. Michael, who'd become a federal agent and disappeared to Washington. Michael, whose middle name was Harold. Through tears, I listened as he explained everything. He'd been investigating Travis for months as part of a federal fraud task force. He couldn't risk blowing his cover, so he used Dad's name to keep me updated. Travis isn't just a boyfriend, Mom. He's part of an organized network that targets widows. They look for women with savings, then drain everything. Emily got pulled in when she met him online. I looked at my son and saw Harold in his determined jaw, his steady eyes. Michael had always been deliberate, methodical, the opposite of Emily's recklessness. You knew she was stealing from me, and you let it happen? I whispered. I had to, Mom. If I warned you, Travis would vanish, and dozens of other families would never get justice. The theft was evidence we needed. I promise, we're going to get your money back, and Emily is going to answer for what she's done. The cold clarity of Michael's words stung, but I understood the impossible position he'd been in. He slid a thick folder across the table: photographs, bank records, surveillance notes. Emily and Travis were living in a Miami Beach penthouse, driving luxury cars, dining at restaurants that cost more than my monthly groceries. They had stolen not just from me, but from at least 7 other families, raking in over $500,000. Look here, Michael said, tapping a photo of Emily draped in a diamond necklace. She bought that with money stolen from a 73-year-old widow in Atlanta. Travis convinced the woman he loved her, then emptied her accounts. The face in the photos was my daughter's, but not the girl I remembered. Hardened, calculating. She wasn't just complicit, she was thriving on the ruin of others. We've been building this case for 8 months, Michael explained. Wire fraud, elder abuse, money laundering. They're looking at up to 20 years. I wanted you to see it firsthand when we take them down. The irony twisted in my chest. Travis believed he was untouchable, moving from state to state, reinventing himself after each con. He had no idea that one of his victims was the mother of a federal detective. Why didn't you call me after Harold died? My voice cracked. We wasted 5 years in silence while Emily was being groomed by a criminal. Michael's composure wavered. I was hurt, angry that you favored her. When I realized she was with Travis, part of me thought she deserved the fallout. But then I saw what they did to you. Dad would never forgive me if I let pride destroy you, too. The truth unraveled over the following weeks. Travis Morrison wasn't real. His true name was David Trevor Martin, a career con man with 12 aliases. His scheme was chillingly systematic: study obituaries, target recent widows, seduce them or recruit their children, then drain their lives away. Emily was never his target, Michael said flatly. You were. He used her to get close, to access your documents, to learn about your retirement account, and she helped him. Recordings proved it. On one, Emily laughed. Mom is so trusting. She leaves her banking info on the counter. We could clean her out and be in the Bahamas before she even notices. I fled to the cafe bathroom in tears. My daughter's betrayal was casual, gleeful. She wasn't coerced, she was willing. By the time the task force counted the victims, there were 23 across 8 states, with nearly $1 million stolen. Many never reported it, too ashamed to admit they'd been deceived. The sting was set. Emily and Travis thought they were safe in Miami, preparing to flee to Costa Rica under false names. They didn't know their landlord was undercover, or that every transaction was being tracked. 3 days before the arrests, I got a final text signed Harold. Tomorrow we finish this. Pack a bag. Michael will pick you up at 6. That night, I walked through the house Harold and I had built, touching the furniture, the photos, the memories of when Emily was still innocent. Part of me still prayed this was all a mistake. At dawn, Michael pulled up in an unmarked car. His jaw was set, his eyes grim. Are you ready, Mom? Seeing her in cuffs won't be easy. The 4-hour drive blurred by. The penthouse loomed above us, all glass and ocean views, paid for with the future Harold and I had sacrificed to save. At exactly 7 a.m., the FBI stormed the building. From the lobby, I heard doors splinter, voices shouting, David Trevor Martin, you're under arrest for wire fraud and elder abuse. Moments later, I saw her, my Emily, pale, cuffed, screaming as agents led her into the glass elevator. Michael, she cried, thrashing against the agent's grip. How did you find us? You're supposed to be in Washington. Her panic grew when she saw my son step forward, badge gleaming in the morning sun. Emily Thompson and David Martin, you are under federal arrest for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, elder abuse, and money laundering. You have the right to remain silent. Emily's gaze found mine across the lobby. For a fleeting second, I saw the child who once climbed into my bed during thunderstorms. Mom, I'm sorry, she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. I never meant for it to go this far. But you did, I answered, my voice steady despite the crack in my heart. You stole my future, and never looked back. Watching her in handcuffs should have felt like justice. Instead, I felt only hollow grief. Travis cursed and fought the agents, but Emily looked defeated, her choices finally catching up with her. Mrs. Thompson, Agent Valdez said, handing me a folder, we've frozen all assets bought with stolen funds. Your retirement money, along with the other victims' savings, will be restored within 60 days. Travis and Emily are facing up to 20 years in federal prison. Michael stood beside me, his presence steady as we watched the patrol cars vanish into Miami traffic. She made her choice, Mom, he murmured. she knew exactly what she was doing. The penthouse revealed everything: designer clothes, glittering jewelry, expensive electronics, fine art, all purchased with grief-stained money. Among the records recovered was Emily's own handwriting, lists of victims, financial estimates, notes on which widows seemed weakest. Not impulse, not coercion, deliberate betrayal. 6 months later, Emily and Travis pled guilty. She was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison. He received 15, with more charges pending in other states. The court ordered full restitution and additional damages for emotional harm. I sat in the courtroom as Emily tried to explain. I was lonely. Travis told me the rich wouldn't miss the money, that we were just redistributing wealth. Her words fell flat. The victims' statements revealed the truth: families evicted, elders choosing between food and medicine, widows broken by despair. Emily hadn't redistributed wealth, she had destroyed lives. The cruelty of your crimes cannot be overstated, the judge declared. You preyed on the grieving, showing a callousness that demands punishment. Michael testified as lead investigator, his tone professional, his eyes unflinching. She showed no remorse. She bragged about stealing from her own mother and was eager to flee the country with stolen funds. Around me sat dozens of victims, their faces etched with the same bewilderment and pain I had once felt. Together, we bore witness as justice was delivered. Emily's betrayal of her own mother became the heart of the prosecution's case. Travis faced decades behind bars as new victims came forward. Their assets were auctioned, and the proceeds returned to the people they had so ruthlessly exploited. The case sparked national reform, strengthening protections for seniors and forcing banks to act faster when fraud was suspected. Michael returned to Washington, but our bond was stronger than it had ever been. I placed my recovered savings in a secure account and began volunteering with fraud victim support groups, determined to turn my pain into purpose. Justice, I learned, sometimes arrives in unexpected ways. Family bonds, though fractured, can still protect us. But some betrayals are too deep to forgive, and sometimes, the only healing comes from watching those who broke us face the consequences they can never escape.